For some reason in my brain, I think, oh, summer's coming, it's gonna be peaceful, we're gonna have long days, supper will come together super easy and simply, and I won't have any problems getting dinner on the table. Well, I don't know about you, but my calendar has exploded and we have been super busy. Despite my hope for a slower schedule, there has been no slowdown. It's actually ramped up around here. So this week we're just trying to survive. It's what's for dinner, what can we figure out to put on the table, and honestly it's been 8 o'clock or later most nights this week. So if you were on this crazy mom train along with me, welcome. I am glad to have a friend, and I hope that today we can talk through next week's meal plan, give you a couple of ideas so that you do not have to overthink your dinner plans next week, and maybe we can have an enjoyable visit while we're at it. If you're new here, welcome to Homemade Simple. I am so glad that you found the channel. I'm Lori. I am a wife and a mom, a homemaker who's just trying to survive and live frugally in this busy, chaotic season of life. I hope that you find today's video helpful. Welcome to my kitchen. Welcome to the channel. I'm very excited to share these recipes with you. So let's get started. I had about 5 or 6 bell peppers that were really about to go bad, and I wanted to use them before I had to throw them out to the chickens. So I decided to make sort of a Southwest chicken over rice recipe. This is a little bit like fajitas, but not really. I had some chicken thighs that I had gotten from Aldi half price, and I just wanted to go ahead and use those up. I think I have decided I'm not a big fan of chicken thighs, so I'm probably not going to pick those up anymore. I know that they're a better deal, I know that they're cheaper, but I just do not love them. Anyway, it was a whole pack, probably 1.5 pounds, maybe even 2 pounds. I'm just gonna brown that in some olive oil in a skillet and chop up all of my bell peppers and add 1 onion. I'm gonna season my chicken with some chili powder, some cumin, and some salt. That's my typical go-to taco seasoning. It always turns out fine, and it's a lot cheaper than getting the taco packet. I'm just going to cook all of the chicken in those seasonings until everything is nice and done. Then, in order to save dishes, I'm going to take the chicken out, put in my vegetables, and saute them for a while until they're nice and tender. After the vegetables are cooked, I'm going to add 1 can of drained whole kernel corn. And also I had some of those black beans that I had frozen in the freezer. I'm gonna put some of those in. It ended up equaling about what you would get in a regular size can of black beans. Just drain them if you get a can, and then I'm just gonna heat everything through. Y'all know that I always struggle with rice, but this one turned out just fine. So I know that I didn't do it according to the package directions, but I just have to do it the way I know to do it and hope for the best. I'm just gonna add about 1/2 cup of rice and spoon over the chicken and vegetables on top of the rice. I'm gonna top mine with some sour cream and some cheese, a little bit of salsa. I forgot to tell you that I did add some salsa in with the other vegetables also, about 1/2 jar, and I'm just gonna top it with a little bit more. This dinner turned out to be really good. It's a really good and easy recipe, and the main thing is I didn't have to throw away any of those pretty bell peppers. I will have to say that maybe the best thing about that meal is there were so many leftovers that I had leftovers to make a super easy dinner the next night. So I just took all of the chicken and vegetables and threw them on top of some tortilla chips. I like to get the organic yellow tortilla chips. The multigrain tortilla chips from Aldi are also really good, but these yellow corn tortilla chips are really inexpensive and they cook up really nice as nachos in the oven. I'm going to top them with some cheese. This is 8 ounces of cheddar cheese. Aldi has still kept their cheese slices a lot cheaper than their blocks of cheese, so As long as they do that, I'm just going to keep riding this train and chopping up the cheese slices. If you wonder why I'm doing that, it's because I'm a cheapskate. So I'm going to cook it in a 400-degree oven. It only needed about 15 minutes or so. Really, all you need to do is heat through the chicken and vegetables, melt the cheese, and it's ready to serve. I was so busy, so I was really glad to have an easy dinner to come home to. It kept me from going to the drive-thru or going out to eat, but it also was really easy on the cleanup. It was a really good, healthy meal for my family, but it really incorporated that nice comfort food feel without a lot of expense and a lot of effort. This next recipe really challenged me. I think everything that could have gone wrong did. I've really tried to reflect on where all of my mistakes started, and I think the start of all of the problems was my lack of planning. I did plan the week's menu and the week's meal plan, but I didn't think ahead enough on the day of for this recipe, so I didn't get out the chicken that I wanted to have grilled with this recipe. Make sure that you thaw out your chicken, grill some chicken in addition to everything else I'm about to say. I'm also going to cook up about 12 ounces of thick sliced bacon, and I'm going to cook that in the skillet while I'm doing everything else. I found these cute little star pastas at Target, and I thought they would be really good for this recipe. So I'm going to cook that in some water, but another mistake I made was not heating up enough water, so make sure you have plenty of water. The third mistake I made was I thought that the recipe called for 3 cups of chicken broth. No, it only called for 3/4 of a cup of chicken broth. So I had to redo this part of the recipe. I melted in 1 block of cream cheese into the 3/4 cup of chicken broth until it was creamy, and then I'm going to incorporate the cream sauce with my pasta. I also was going to put some spinach into the recipe, but I forgot that the recipe called for frozen spinach that had already been cooked and then thawed and drained of all of the water. So the issue that I came across using fresh spinach was it was not going to be the right texture. It needed to be a little bit cooked down. And so here I go, having to put all of this pasta back into a larger pot on the stove so that I can heat up the spinach and try to cook it down a little bit. I'm also going to add 1 pint of grape tomatoes that I have halved. I'm going to heat those up in the pot as well, and I'm going to add my bacon that is already cooked up. So in the end, everything was cooked appropriately. Everything was nice and mixed together, and honestly, it was a really, really good dinner. I was very surprised, and it would have been better if there had been some grilled chicken with it, but all in all, it was a really good pasta salad. I had some left over for lunch, and it was really good cold also. So this is probably going to be, as is, a really good side dish. And you can just grill the chicken separate, and you don't even have to mix them together. But I'll make all of the corrections that needed to be made in the description box, so you won't make all of those mistakes. But I just like to keep it real here. Sometimes dinner is a train wreck. So moral of the story, a train wreck of a dinner can end up being really good. And a bonus is you'll have plenty to talk about with your family while you're eating it together. I saved the best dinner for last. This was a really good, wholesome, family-style dinner that I was able to make at my daughter's house. She had a doctor's appointment to check on the baby, and everything is good. I got to hear the baby's heartbeat. Super excited about that, but I brought all of my groceries over for this dinner and I made it at her house. We were able to have a nice dinner together. I'm embarrassed to tell you that I have never even cooked lasagna noodles before. I think in my mind lasagna just is too hard for me, and I'm not able to do it. But anyway, I've conquered that mountain. I can do it. All I did was cook up about 1 1/4 pound of ground beef. I added 1 diced onion to the skillet, and while that's cooking, I heated up some water and added 1 box of lasagna noodles. I didn't really know how to cook lasagna noodles. If you've not ever done that, it's super easy. Don't be like me and be afraid of it. You just put them in, they soften really quickly. They go into the pot after you stir it a bit, so it's really easy and user-friendly. While my pasta and meat is cooking, I'm going to mix together the cheese mixture for our roll-ups. It was 1 container of whole milk ricotta, 1/4 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese, 1 egg, and about a cup of mozzarella cheese that I had diced up as well. So just mix all of that together. To my hamburger meat, I'm also going to add about 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning, a little bit of salt, and 1 jar of marinara sauce. Heat all of that through, and when your noodles are done, it's really easier for you just to place your noodles on a baking sheet, and then you want to spread the cheese mixture on each noodle and a little bit of meat sauce on each noodle. You won't want to overdo it because then you won't be able to roll them up without everything just falling out. So just a little bit of each, roll each individual noodle up on itself, and then place it into a 13 by 9 baking dish. After all of them are rolled up, I just put all of the extra stuff on top of the noodles. I had a little bit of cheese sauce mixture left over, a little bit of marinara sauce with my ground beef left over. If I had been home, I would have put another jar or at least another half a jar of marinara sauce on top to make sure that everything was nice and moist. I didn't bring an extra jar with me, so we just had it as is and it turned out fine. I'm going to top the rolls with maybe another cup of mozzarella and bake it in a 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes until all of the cheese is nice and melted. This was a really easy dinner. I thought it was going to be hard. I was really apprehensive about trying it, but it turned out to be really easy, so nothing to worry about. You can always know that if you see any recipe on this channel, you can guarantee that it's going to be easy and user-friendly. I'm not able to do fancy meals. What we do here is simple, frugal family meals that your whole family will like. And I think this recipe fits that bill perfectly. I will have to say, even though there's not much of a theme going on in this week's meal plan, they all really did turn out well. I would make a couple of adjustments just like we talked about earlier, but all in all, a good solid meal plan that if you want to replicate, I think your family would really enjoy. Let me know in the comments your favorite summer survival dinner. I think we could really compile a great list of summer survival meals. Maybe I can make a future video using all of your suggestions. Thank you so much for being here. As always, I hope you have a wonderful week. I love you, and I will see you again next time.